Happy Wednesday, and thank you for tuning in to Wonderful Radio. This is your host, Silly Girl Carmen. We are happy to welcome Mon for episode 41. She is a DJ, runner, and model from South London, bringing us a musical medley of experimental, bass, and electronic, and future sounds. We had a chance to meet Mon via Zoom and chat a bit more about her influences and what has been keeping her busy. Thank you for tuning in, and stay locked and enjoy this episode on Wonderful Radio. Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Silly Girl Carmen. We are back with another episode of Wonderful, and today I'm going to be chatting with Mon. How are you doing today?
Hey, I'm really good, thank you. Yeah, it's been really hot here and it feels like it's about to have a storm. So I think it's been a bit much. So I've been having lots of cold showers to try and keep myself cool.
Right. So yeah, actually for our listeners, where are you from and where are you currently based?
So I'm from England. I'm based in London, but I grew up in the north of England, kind of near Manchester way. So that's where, yeah, my family are up there, but I'm in London.
Okay, nice. Very cool. We're going to jump right into your interview. So I know I was looking around on your Instagram, of course, and saw that you also model. So how did you find balance with DJing and modeling? And do you feel like these industries seem to blend together for you in any way?
Yeah, they really do. It's kind of a funny story, really, because they all integrate into one, as well as my running. So it started off with my running. I was always a runner. And then I came across to London because Nike did some like events with running, and they had some really cool collectives there who were like musicians and creatives. And so I moved through that, and then that's how I got like picked up in modeling. So they kind of all like integrate, and I think they work really well together because I can kind of like tailor my modeling towards like DJing, and they both like levitate each other up, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I can agree with that. That's dope that it does go together and it complements, and your journeys kind of, evolve that way. And yeah, so I saw you did work for a London Fashion Week ad raising awareness of clothing waste in the industry. I thought that was really cool. Can you tell us more about working on that project?
Yeah, so that was through my agency, and I get a contact, and they said, we're going to do a shoot with Vanish, the like clothing brand stain remover. And I was a bit skeptical. I was like, okay, I don't know if I'm going to be on one of those adverts on the TV, like one of those cheesy people.
Right,
but then I got into the brief of it, and they're like, yeah, so it's for London Fashion Week, raising awareness on like clothing waste within like the fashion industry, because it's huge. And it was the shoot was at St Pancras Hotel, which is the hotel which is seen in like the first Harry Potter with the flying car, and also where the Spice Girls filmed their music video Wannabe. So it was there, and it was huge and grand. And we weren't allowed into the room, which was where the shoot was at, because they had the production team bringing all of these clothes, and it was in this one room was all the clothes which was wasted within the industry just in 5 minutes. And it was incredible, because you don't realize how much waste there is, and you'll just be like, oh, I'll have those clothes, or like on a shoot or something. You get gifted stuff, and it's like, well, do I need them? There's going to be waste with every material that is made. And yeah, it's really made me think differently about clothes, and I think it's made me think differently about what I want to be involved in terms of shoots and what it's for, rather than just being something extremely commercial for the sake of putting my face out there or for money. Like, that's not what it's about. I never went into it for that. I'd like to be able to like use my platform, my face, to raise awareness on things which are really important for everybody to be aware of, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome that it provided you like a new perspective, and it was something that you resonated with. It was like, oh, there can be like purpose into like putting a message out there, not just what you said, like, money or just showing your face. And it's funny, yeah, because that topic, I'm glad there's more people raising awareness on the waste side and just environmental issues surrounding fashion. So I actually did an episode with two people, and we got to speak just on, all the, the issues with the fashion industry, fast fashion, and the effects it has. And it is mind blowing because, like you said, we don't think about it. Like it's we want to be on trend, we want to be cute, we see stuff so quick, but it's mind blowing. Yeah, seeing the other side.
Yeah, for sure. And I think even now where we're easing out of lockdown here to an extent, because people have been like inside for so long, there's almost been a spike in it because people are like, I want to go to 10 events, all of these festivals, and the best way to get 10 different outfits is a really cheap like online thing, which is fashion. And I think people aren't aware of that, and they're kind of a little bit selfish within themselves because they want to have a good time after the pandemic.
Yeah, it's true. So hopefully there's just continued awareness, and people can find that balance because it's an interesting industry. So I know you did briefly bring this up, and I was surprised to see this. I didn't know that until I was like looking. I'm like, I saw all these running pictures on your profile. I'm like, oh, that's dope. So you seem pretty serious about as a runner. Can you tell us more about Tempo, which is something I saw you were associated with, and what you love about being a runner, and what are some of the major benefits for you?
So I was asked to join Tempo by my friend who's the founder of it, Martha, about 3 years ago. And it's a collective of runners, creatives and DJs based in South London that come together once a week outside of the pandemic to run, share music and just socialize in an environment which isn't like always the club scene where there's like, loud sounds, alcohol, and just that bass. So like we're able to integrate like the great feelings of running with like the enjoyment of music and like friends. But running's always been a part of my like upbringing because when I was younger I played football up until the age of 18, but like semi-professional teams. That was like my life for a long time. But I went to university and I studied biomed, and I used that as my outlet, running as my outlet of like stress relief and like just stepping away from the stresses of everyday life and like focusing my energies into something which made me feel good about myself and my mental health. And in lockdown as well, I was doing the first lockdown in last year. I was doing something ridiculous, like 70 kilometers a week. So that's the equivalent of like, I think 50 miles a week of running. And it was a great way to explore the city because I just have my headphones, put a small orange in my pocket and run to loads of different parks in South London, like Greenwich Park, further south. And I got to explore and listen to people's mixes and my own DJ mixes. And it was a very wholesome experience. And I felt like I grew even closer to my love for running through lockdown because it was almost like my only outlet at the time.
Yeah, that's dope. That's really dope. And I love that I like to hear stuff like that because I don't always consider that there is like alternatives of being a DJ and in a format that's not a club or around partying. So it's cool that you guys have, you have that collective where it's something physical, but it's still you're bringing that creativity and that music. So that's dope. And I could totally see. That's amazing that you were running that much, and it probably was such a perfect outlet at that time. So that's really good that you had that as something you love.
Yeah,
very cool.
Yeah, I actually have a knee operation next week because I torn 2 ligaments in my knee. So I haven't been running for a little bit. So I'll be out for a little bit, but hey, I'll be back in no time.
Yeah, hopefully fast recovery, yes. All right, we're going to wrap it up with one more question. So it is exciting that the world is opening back up and we can get to experience music with other people now. So what are some of your favorite clubs or music venues in London? Give us a look into what's going on out there.
I guess it's not explicitly the clubs that I love in London. It's more the events and the collectives that put events on. So you've got places like Boiler Room, who like had the Boiler Room Festival in Peckham at Peckham Levels, and like the Bussey Building. You've got places like the Pickle Factory, where the record label Hoover Sounds, which is run by Sherelle and Naina, they were, I don't know if it's going ahead because Boris Johnson's changed the rules today. They were throwing an event on the 9th of July for their label Hoover Sounds at the Pickle Factory, which me and my friends were going to go to. But then you've got places like smaller clubs like Toller, which is also in Peckham, and that's been doing a lot of work with this woman called Bianca, who's got the Take Note Academy, which is really cool to look at on Instagram. And they've been doing like the virtual festival with Emerald and different DJs like that in the dance scene, which has been really cool. So I think it's not like just anymore the same as how it used to be. You've got the big places like Fabric, which have been throwing events and going to throw events. But now, because of the pandemic, you've got loads of little small things happening through like collectives and not just buildings, which is really nice, because then it changes like the type of events and it's not just the same night all the time, which, you know, it's boring. And where I'm from in the north of England, it's very much chart music, but from 5 years ago, where when I go home, I'm like, oh gosh, I want to go home again because I don't need to be out. But yeah, it's going to be exciting for sure. And I think the pandemic has created like this like drive and this excitement for new sounds, new DJs, new collectives to like come up from like the ashes almost. And it's going to be a really exciting time for music when we can all like dance together again.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you for giving us some insight. Yeah, because I've been to London once, so hopefully I get to come back out there and like get connected with the culture out there. But good to know. Well, I thank you so much for coming on here. I'm excited for our listeners to check out your mix and see more of your work. And we thank you. Hope you have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.